What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 25 realistic rebuild of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think if you were saying, C4, you have to pick one of the bad franchises to get off to a bad start, and right now we're starting live. That's why you see some of the player ratings have skill caps and stuff ready to go and upgrades ready to go, because I've simulated to the point where the Jags are actually 1-4 right now. And we have got to try and save this sinking ship. But if I'm looking at all the teams in the NFL right now that have one win, that it's all doom and gloom, that I would say, yes, I want to go rebuild that team. Jags would be near the top of the list. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to throw Doug Peterson here as solid. I'm not going to fire him. I'm going to try to also redeem and reclaim the reputation of Doug Peterson. We have no issue throwing Press Taylor under the bus. I don't know what kind of Rolodex he has to prevent Doug Peterson from firing him, but I know most Jags fans want Press Taylor gone. He's the offensive coordinator. For those of you that don't know, Press Taylor is why Doug Peterson got fired in Philadelphia only a couple years after winning the Super Bowl. Our owners were like, you got to fire Press Taylor. This guy sucks. And he's like, nope. Doug Peterson basically went and fell on his sword for Press Taylor, got fired from Philadelphia, went to Jacksonville, brought back Press Taylor, and now they have a severely underperforming offense. And we're going to do everything in our power to rebuild this offense, retool this team, and turn them into a Super Bowl champion over the next minimum of 5, maximum of 10 seasons. Taking a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, we start up front, which I think is probably one of the biggest weaknesses of this team, even though from a Madden standpoint, it's not brutal. Now, they are hit with a bunch of morale dumps, but the fact of the matter is, Robinson's average, Cleveland's average at best, Mitch Morse for a minimum 5-year rebuild, not a long-term answer. Same with Brendan Schriff. I don't know how he's still pulling the superstar dev, but not really the same player that he was when he was in Washington. Anton Harrison definitely has some upside. Former first-round pick last year out of Oklahoma. Definitely, if I'm looking at this offensive line, he probably is going to be the long-term option. But for everybody else, I think this may unfortunately need to turn into a rebuild where we spend premier picks retooling and rebuilding the offensive line over the first couple seasons. You got Evan Ingram, who's kind of reemerged after being, I don't think it's fair to say he was a bust, but things did not end the best, and maybe he never failed to live up to the expectations that he had in New York. Now he's 29, so there's not a lot of legs left on him in the context of Madden, and I'm going to imagine we're probably going to have a harsh regression or two coming up, but still very, very productive tight end and not a weakness. That phrase, not a weakness, is a key word when I look at this offense. You look at the backfield, you got Travis Etienne, you got Tank Bigsby, who's a legitimate player. There's no weakness at the run game. You look at the wide receivers, Christian Kirk, one of the better slot wide receivers in the league. You got Gabe Davis, who I thought, and probably a couple years in, we're going to be like, why did they pay him this amount of money? But he's still only 25, 79, star dev. There's upside there. He has room to grow. You get in the first round. You also have Duvernay here, great return man. But you also in the first round go and get Brian Thomas Jr., who's already got 2 skill points here that we're going to auto-spend, which should bring him up to an 82 overall in this young rookie campaign. And he's one of the more cheesy wide receivers that exist. He's playing well in real life. He's the leading receiver on the Jags. I think he has like 400 yards, couple touchdowns. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, 96 speed, 95 acceleration. I mean, there's a legitimate claim. Everyone's talking about Xavier Worthy, the Chiefs rookie that ran the 4.2 whatever and broke John Ross's record. But like Brian Thomas, almost as fast and weighs like 40 pounds or whatever it is more. Like an argument can be made that like pound for pound, Brian Thomas might be the fastest player in the NFL. And we have him on a rookie contract. So again, wide receiver, no weakness. Quarterback, this is an interesting one. I will say, I think Mac Jones is probably one of the better, more desirable backup quarterbacks in the league, and I want to try to trade him. Like, I am shocked that a team like the Miami Dolphins didn't try to make a move for him. He'd be a perfect backup there, and obviously, unknown situation with Tua. You look at, like, Cleveland. You look at, New York. Like, some of these teams that clearly could use quarterback competition and legit backup, I'm surprised that he ended up here in Jacksonville because you got Trevor Lawrence. And you look at Trevor Lawrence and you look at the Jags win-loss and you look at his performance in big games, and there's starting to be people that creep in like, oh, maybe he's not that generational prospect that we thought he was coming out of Clemson. Honestly, that we thought he was coming out of high school. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe. I firmly believe that Trevor Lawrence has every bit the ability to develop into one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We have a 24-year-old quarterback, has a super. I don't know how he has a superstar dev, to be honest with you. I'm shocked at the amount of superstar devs that are on this Jags team. However, I think Trevor Lawrence has just got a shit sandwich to start his NFL career. Okay? How many coaches has he gone through? What, Doug Marrone? Was Doug Marrone there when he drafted him? You got Urban. You went through the Urban Meyer shit show, and now you're dealing with, you got Doug Peterson, but you're also dealing with Press Taylor. Like, there has not been a favorable role. He has not had a quarterback-friendly coach since he's been in the league, on top of all the turnover. I think he just needs a little bit more stability. I think if I'm talking about this under the assumption that Doug might get fired, things are not going well with the Jags. That's why we're rebuilding them right now. They might be one of the more dire rebuild situations in the league. But let's just say, hypothetically throwing out there, Ben Johnson, the OC from the Lions, he's probably going to be the top big name that every team that needs a new head coach this offseason wants to go get. And I was just, Ben Johnson working with Trevor Lawrence? Yes, I think he could absolutely turn around. Hell, Doug Peterson just fired Press Taylor and brought in someone else, like your Cliff Kingsbury type, that is working wonders with Jaden Daniels in Washington. Like, that is what Trevor Lawrence needs. He needs stability and a proven track record coach that can help with his development, but I am not ready to give up on him. I think for this rebuild, I think in real life, there's still an elite quarterback in there. He just has been surrounded by complete dog shit since he's been in the league. And there is also an element that, like other young quarterbacks, doesn't really have a defining win yet. Maybe has borderline struggled in some of these big gotta-have-it type moments, but I'm not ready to give up. Now when we look at the defense, much like the offense, where the offense across the board, maybe a little bit on the O-line, but generally speaking, offense, no worries. Defense, pretty much the same. Linebacking core, you have Devin Lloyd who's going into his second year, 81, he's actually an 82 right now. Not worried about that. You got Olakun, veteran, not necessarily a long-term option. Could honestly be a trade candidate if we do want to kind of give up on this season. I think him and Armstead would be the two that maybe we get some value for and carry that into draft pick compensation. But Olakun, one of the best linebackers in the league at 29 years old. Got to wonder how much is left there in terms of the impending regression. So I actually will throw him up on the trade block just to see. I'm not going to be hard-pressed to trade him. But if the right offer comes in and someone's saying, hell yeah, we could potentially make a move. But as it stands right now, happy with the linebacking core. Safety room, you got Darnell Savage coming from the Packers. Cisco, who was incredible in college, had a bad injury, came back from that injury, and has been one of the more ball-productive safeties in the league. But you got to remember, if you go back and look at his numbers at Syracuse, just an insane amount of turnovers. And he's only 24 years old, so definitely a very high ceiling for him to continue to grow and develop into one of the better safeties in the league. Now, the corner room outside of Tyson Campbell, who, did he play bad? I feel like in last year's game, he was like an 85 superstar. Now we're 80 star. Either way, got a great player here in Tyson Campbell. However, I do think the rest of the corner room, however, it's the big issue. It's the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb for me in terms of roster management, where we need to go and improve, where we need to invest. Yeah, it's not great. Darby and Flowers, you could do better. And then finishing up on the D-line, you have Josh Hines Allen, formerly known as Josh Allen, one of the best pass rushers, more underrated pass rushers in the league. 27 years old, 92 X-Factor. Now, he did just get paid, so that's a big contract that we're going to have to navigate. But absolute beast, and I've seen enough sims to see that he can put up very big numbers here for this Jags team. And then in the interior, we got Hamilton, who's a good role player, good run defender. You have Eric Armstead, who at 82 star, I'm actually going to throw him up in the trade block too. We have Mozzie Smith, the rookie at LSU, who's like a 72 normal. Not necessarily I want to get him on the field, but if we can get good value for Eric Armstead, sell when his value is at really the highest it will be, maybe we need to make that move to start thinking about the offseason. Yeah, Smith actually is a 73 with the boost, so we can get him on the field. And then lastly, you got Travon Walker, former first overall pick. A lot has been made, and honestly, I've always taken the side. I can't believe they didn't take Aiden Hutchinson, who obviously speedy recovery, a brutal injury, absolute brutal injury. But Walker's kind of coming on this year. He's finally starting to put it all together, which makes me feel good. I'm just going to sidebar this as an Eagles fan because we have a couple Georgia Bulldogs on defense that may, outside of Jalen Carter, maybe not immediate impact, but Jordan Davis is playing better. Nolan Smith is playing better. Keely Ringo's starting to play a little bit better when he gets that. Maybe these Georgia guys just need a little bit more time. They're not necessarily going to hit the ground running and start dominating, but Travon Walker's starting to look like a guy who, that guy was the first overall pick. Obviously was drafted as a freak Absolute freak athlete. 275 pounds, 92 acceleration, 88 speed, 88 strength. It's just the technical game need to get there. Wasn't as pro ready as Aiden Hutchinson, but I think you're starting to see, like maybe last year, you feel terrible because you're looking at Aiden Hutchinson being one of the best young pass rushers in the league, and Walker's still trying to figure it out. But this year, at least in real life, it starts to feel like, all right, we got something. We're very happy with this pick, and sky might be the limit for this freak of nature, who hopefully that will be the case here in today's rebuild. So in closing, as we kind of burn through the rest of year number 1 after our very slow start, this could be a tough rebuild. This could be a rebuild where we have to eventually move a lot of pieces. This could be a rebuild that some of these veterans phase out before we're ready to start winning. But also it could be a rebuild that is not that difficult because the talent is here. Trevor Lawrence, long-term option. Brian Thomas is going to be along. We got Harrison on the O-line, guys on the defense. I'm very confident that minimum of 5, maximum of 10, we will get a Super Bowl here in Jacksonville. Even though it may seem incredibly dire right now in real life, I'm going to turn it around. I promise. I'll do it. And all I need in return is front row AEW tickets. Come on, Tony. Help me out, Tony Khan. We're at the trade deadline week. I got to find a trade partner here. And I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing for Chicago. We're getting some outrageous offers. Rolakun, like T. Higgins, Nico, like things that just... If realistic wasn't in the title of this video, moves would be made. I think Marcus Williams could make sense. Seems like he's actually kind of been phased out a little bit there in Baltimore. But I'm very interested in corners. But we also need to realize that Olakun is 29. So you're kind of getting wind out. And like this one would make sense from the Niners. Dre Greenlaw had the big injury. You're down to Fred Warner. Get someone that can play next to Fred. And Lenore is... corner 2 there. The draft picks kind of make it hurt. Okay. I think, you know what? I'll take this one. I like Stevenson. He's corner 3 in Chicago. Confirm, yep, corner 3. So I'll take what they offered me, the 2/3, and I will throw in to kind of make it a little more fair. I'll throw in my 4th round pick this year, 5th round pick next year, 5th round pick the year after. So ultimately, Bears getting some draft compensation back as they now have the best linebacking core in the league by a considerable amount. There's nothing there good, but I'll tell you what, I'm thinking about it. Maybe not now, but I don't know if a second contract's in his future. I'm going to strike another deal. I'm not saying we're 100% in fire sale, but I put up all my players that I think we could trade. And Brendan Schriff was getting some 2nd round picks. I don't know. He's a superstar. Could go to a desperate team. The Bucks are desperate for O-line help. So we're sending Schriff a 6th and 7th round pick this year to the Bucks for a 3rd round pick next year. I think that's a fair trade. I was going to send Mac Jones and a way future 4th round pick to reload and get even more assets in the 3rd round next year, which hopefully we get a very good generated draft roll, because that's a money zone for me. We watched our Minnesota Vikings main channel draft, which with this latest Madden patch, hopefully we can get back into that. We acquired a lot of 3rd and 4th rounders, and that's where we did our damage. Hopefully we get a good roll, but there you go. Miami gets finally, insurance to Tua. And our last trade, we're going to get rid of Eric Armstead. The team that was easily the most desired to get him was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't really like what they wanted to offer me. Jalen Warren, who's like an 81 star-dev running back and a 5th round pick. So I said, all right, I'll give you Armstead. And then next year, we got all those 3rds and 4ths. I don't need those late rounders. So I'm going to give you my 6th and both 7ths. You give me Darnell Washington, because I'm not 100% sure on the longevity of Evan Ingram and when the regressions get a hit. And I definitely want to buy some stock and invest in a 6'7", 270-pound freak tight end on a rookie deal, and you kick in a 4th rounder instead of the 5th that you're giving me with the better player, and we're able to find and make bread and break bread on this deal. After all those moves, look at the update here. Well, I brought Mac Barkley in to be the backup quarterback to T-Law just because he has the mentorship tag, so that's a little bit of an XP boost. We're going to have Darnell Washington kind of line up as the fullback backup tight end. Remember there was a rebuild we did last year. We called him the hyper weapon because he had like 10 rushing touch. It was absurd. Maybe we'll be able to get that. We got Walker Little taking over Brendan Schriff's spot at right guard. Little was a 5-star recruit in college. Hasn't really worked out at tackle. So usually when it doesn't work out at tackle, you bring him in and see maybe they can make the switch to guard. he's going to get that opportunity. On the defensive side of the ball, Mason Smith's going to start at D-tackle after getting rid of Eric Armstead. We're going to have Devin Lloyd, Muma, and Yasir Abdul, who's kind of like a hybrid linebacker pass rusher. Obviously, we're giving up a little bit there. Would be cool to see like Muma or Abdullah make the most of the opportunity, maybe get a dev trait role here or there. Stevenson is going to start now at corner. That's probably the biggest game we got coming back in a trade. And we're going to go with Jarian Jones, the rookie out of Florida State. We're going to give him the opportunity, much like Mason Smith, much like Muma. Like, can you do something here with your opportunity to prove that I don't need to try to find a replacement for you in the offseason? Holy shit. 1 in 10. What? All right, look at our salary cap. We got 36 mil. How are we going to handle this business? I think it's time to be maybe a little ruthless. We got Walker Little. I think, honestly, give you a 1 year and just see. Just one last position we have to make sure we draft. I do like Cisco. Big fan of his game at Syracuse, so we'll get him locked in on a 4 year. I think his best football is ahead of him, especially once we kind of rebound. We got Cam Robinson. Wasn't planning on it, but the fact that he's only looking for 2 years, this means we can keep him until he's 29. Like, just avoid the relegation, the regression years. I think that's good business there. Surprise. Usually they ask for like 4 years and they want you well into your 30s. I'll take 2 year every day. There we go, baby. Second win of the year. Suck it, Titans. 28-10. And we get a player of the week performance. Trevor Lawrence, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not that great of a report, but we'll take it. Oh, we won again. Suck it, Jets. And every time we win, it's someone getting player of the week. 2 picks. Tyson Campbell. Let's go. Now we're getting on a win streak. 5-11. Another player of the week as we sweep the Titans. And it's Josh Allen. 4 sacks. So here's how we end year 1. We go 5-12, and that's kind of annoying because we were real bad for most of the season. We got hot late, beat some bad teams that we're also trying to compete and battle with for the best draft pick possible. And 5-12 kind of puts us outside the top 5 of the draft order. As you can see, I have a couple targets in mind. Our biggest need is corner. And, I mean, things can happen, things can shuffle, but we're going to have to likely trade up if we want one of the top corners. We're currently projected to get James Pierce Jr. Oh, that's what we need, a pass rush. One of the only few positions on this Jags team that's all right. And I think we could probably continue to develop Josh Hines-Allen and, obviously, Travon Walker. We got to fill our staff. They give us suggestions. You know what? I'm just going to make this as like a... metaphorical, hypothetical. This is us firing the worst offensive coordinator in the league, I think it's fair to say, and a man that just has way too much evidence and dirt, apparently, on Doug Peterson and Press Taylor, and we will hire, let's see what we got here. I'm going to just keep it with likely the offense here, and you know what? Rules are rules. And if this offense never peaks, I'm going to hire the Kansas City Chiefs OC. And we'll keep that in our back pocket as a potential offensive scheme change if things come down to it. But let's take a look at our rankings here and our stats. What? Trevor Lawrence, not the best. 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 14 picks. Again, hope this is, again, the floor. And we only keep going up from here. Riding the ball, not crazy. So I'm going to keep note of, because Travis Etienne's going to cost a pretty penny when it comes down to contract extension. And if the Jags are a team that's just never really going to run the ball like crazy, we do have Tank Bigsby on a rookie contract. So that'll be something to keep noticing. Man, Trevor Lawrence, 6 rushing touchdowns, huh? 32 total. Ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. Brian Thomas, the rookie, goes over 1,000 yards, 67 catches, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Christian Kirk in the slot, 900 yards, 9 touchdowns. I am always a little bit more of a fan of these offenses that don't just slot cheese. When like the outside wide receiver can end up being your top wide receiver, I'm usually a fan of that. Disappointing season for Gabe Davis, especially with the price they paid to bring him over from the Bills in free agency. Ingram was all right. Defensively, we got Devin Lloyd, led the team with 97 tackles. We got 14 sacks from Josh Hines-Allen, 8 from Travon Walker, and 11 TFLs. Happy with both of those numbers for sure. And on the interceptions front, 3 picks by Tyson Campbell. We had 2 from Antonio Johnson and a bunch of solo dolos there. But generally speaking, not crazy box score stats here from the Jags, but we're also one of the worst teams in the league. So what else are you expecting? We actually got an award winner. It's Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU gets Offensive Rookie of the Year. That'd be pretty cool if he could find a way to sneak up and get a superstar dev trait ahead of year 2 here of this rebuild. So the Super Bowl, a good roll for all ABC fans. Anybody about the Cowboys and Chargers as the Eagles end up defeating the Ravens. That'd be an awesome Super Bowl. I say that incredibly biasedly as an Eagle fan with them on the winning side. Look at our roster. What kind of dev traits did we get? The superstar on Brian Thomas, and we did. Let's go. And Trevor Lawrence kept his superstar. And Evan Ingram kept his superstar. No dev trait regression on the offense. That is a win. On the defensive side of the ball, I think everyone's dev trait remained the same. So it's all right. Could have been worse. Could have lost dev traits and not gained anything either. To start the offseason, we're going to pick up both the 5th-year option for Devin Lloyd and Travon Walker. Man, it feels like... Is that how much time has passed? And we're already picking up 5th-year option for Travon Walker. I feel like that draft was like last year. Man, oh man. Do you ever get a good role in free agency year 1? I feel like if you don't need Chase Young and you're looking for just a bunch of old players, boy, oh boy, do we got a class for you. I kind of wanted to see if we could get a linebacker out of this. So I didn't have to try and draft, 7 different positions that I need. However, not really a great linebacker role. Or at corner, just a lot of old heads for the most part. So I guess let's hope for a great draft class. And we did not get the role that we wanted on the final mock draft. This is usually a pretty good indicator about who is going where. And I was firmly ready for one of these two. It was kind of like, all right, if things lined itself up, we'll go Travis Hunter. We'll cash in our Travis Hunter realistic rebuild. But if not, Will Johnson, absolutely. And it looks like I don't think we're going to be able to trade up for Will Johnson. Maybe we see what it would cost to get Travis Hunter from the Browns. Could be cool. Okay, so looking at a trade value chart, pick 2 is worth 2,600 points. As you can see here, just look at the value. We have at pick 7, which is 15. So we need to make up roughly 1,000-ish points in value for the Browns, which would be probably equivalent to our first-round pick next year. So, attempt number 1 of asking the Browns what they want. Don't know about all that. And how about this combination of players that they were interested in? Obviously, the Browns are always a team that likes to run the football. And Travis Etienne, 2690 superstar. For me, it's like, do I want to give up 2 first-round picks and maybe even like a 3rd or whatever? Or do I throw in some players that I think we can, I don't want to necessarily live without, but I don't think we're ever going to be a team that relies on the run game. Therefore, is Travis Etienne going to get a second contract? Probably not. Christian Kirk, still one of the better slot wide receivers in the league, but he didn't really eat in the slot. Are we a playbook? Are we an offense? Sorry, not playbook. Let's keep kayfabe here. Are we an offense that doesn't really have to utilize the slot that much? So you'd bring a lot of value there to the Browns. So how about this offer? All right. So with that, we keep right into the mix to get a corner. As Will Johnson goes for, I'd be fine with either one. Will Johnson obviously is the better pure corner. But this man, he doesn't even need a, I thought he was going to have a profile pick. But this man is truly special. And you get 2 opportunities. I'm glad that we're starting him as a corner, because I think that's where, obviously, we need him to play. But there's also an element of we just got rid of Christian Kirk. And if we need help at wide receiver, you got a guy here that can give you the best of both worlds. A player that has taken over college football. His versatility has maybe never been seen. No idea what the ratings are going to be. Better be an X Factor. That'd be cool if he is an X Factor. Travis Hunter. You are, and this is another thing with getting Travis Hunter. He might even get overdrafted because you guys sell so much more merch, so much more. The NFL is a business, and Travis Hunter for pretty much every team in the NFL would be what's best for business. And he is number 8 in true value in the class. Picking him at number 2. I think number 8, that's kind of dogging him there a little bit. I'd probably have him top 5, top 3 in that range. Let's look. We get, obviously, the dev trait. Prolific athleticism, 95 acceleration, 94 agility, 93 change of direction, 94 jumping, 93 speed, and the versatility to play wherever, whenever. But we will start him out as a corner. I think up next we're going to get a little creative. I want to add competition to the interior of our D-line. And Jordan Birch, big-time athlete. If you're viewing him within the context of a D tackle, a guy that's almost 300 pounds running a 4.74, you kind of want to be about that life. We really didn't, in terms of starters, we do need a linebacker, but do we really want to invest in linebacker? I mean, we got Danny Stutzman, who's been very productive at Oklahoma. Decent enough athlete. We did scout some middle linebackers. We got Deontay Lawson, who's a second-round pick. We got Barrett Carter from Clemson, converted safety. Ooh. I hate drafting a linebacker in the second round, but we'll go Barrett Carter. Watched a lot of Barrett Carter when I was looking at a lot of Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and as much as it pains me to admit, as much as I think Axeman Jr. here for my beloved Eagles is going to be solid. Barrett Carter was a linebacker that was definitely standing out the most for Clemson. I believe he was recruited as a safety, so that is going to probably show off in his athleticism, but I hate the value. Would love to grab your linebacker in the third round. 66 in true value, getting that 39, but we do get a dev trait roll, which is good. Well, I had the first pick of the third round, and I wasn't fully paying attention. Made a panic pick, but we got a very similar to Eric Armstead, like a 290 D tackle interior. Shamar Stewart from A&M, 112, getting him at 65, and anytime you can fall completely ass backwards into a hidden dev player, you take it. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't even need a pass rusher. Who the hell? David Walker out of Central Arkansas. We have A power, B finesse, second in the 40-yard dash, 3-cone, 20-yard shells, exactly what I don't even need to play. You give me a player with this profile, 84 in true value. Cool. David Walker, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're in the market for a slot wide receiver. We get maybe a guy in the discussion for the best slot wide receiver in college football. Xavier Restrepo of the U. A, catching traffic. B, catching. Decent enough speed. Elite acceleration. And I feel like absolutely a playmaker that can come in and compete for that spot. 51 in true value. Getting him at pick 90. No dev trait. Not worried about it. Holy shit. Okay, so I got Caleb Johnson here. I wish I literally was like, yeah, whatever. He's a UDFA projected player. 35 in true value. Caleb Johnson. The running back out of Iowa, 35, was UDFA projected. So if you're using this draft class, there's a little nugget for those of you that watch my videos versus those that don't. If you're in a multi-user league and you're using this class, Caleb Johnson is projected to be UDFA, and he's a top 40 player in the class. Now, if you've seen our realistic rebuilds, we are using a custom, well, it's a custom class, but it's off the share. Strict. Very, like, it's not easy to get day 2, day 3 picks that are above a 70 overall. Now, I'm not saying that there's like a bunch of 50s and stuff, but usually you're meddling around in players that are like mid to low 60s. We crushed it. Caleb Johnson, 74 normal. Restrepo, 73 normal. David Walker, 71 with a dev. Stewart, 70 with a dev. 72 on Barrett Carter. And Travis Hunter, 78 overall, top 10 player in the class. Now, all the dev traits right now are unveiled. I don't know if this is by design. I don't know if this is a glitch, but we might as well peek at, I guess, at our dev traits here. So Travis Hunter is superstar. I'm going to guess he gets an X Factor next year as a rookie. I think the hype's too much to deny him that. Barrett Carter was hidden dev, and he gets a star. Great. Love the loading times. Next-gen console. Love it. We got Shamar Stewart with a star dev trait. Did David Walker have a dev? And he has a star one as well. So another 2-2 crazy. And if Travis Hunter doesn't have an X Factor, X Factors, I assume, in this draft class are very difficult to come by. So the first game of kind of the new era here in Jacksonville. 1-0, and we get a player of the week performance, almost dropping 40 points on the Rams, and it's Trevor Lawrence with a 4-touchdown performance. Need to see more of that out of our superstar quarterback. Midway point-ish coming out of our bye. We are 3-2, above 500. Looking at our offensive ranks. Points are good. Top 5 in points, but passing yards and rushing yards aren't the best, and defense is not the best, even though teams just aren't running it on us. So that's kind of good. I will say, just looking at big picture, not a huge fan of Josh Allen only having 1 TFL. He's very rich because of us to get more than that. Anyways, contract time, $84 million. How are we going to handle this? Well, 5th-year option for Harrison. Yep. Puma, Little, all these guys can pretty much walk, honestly. And I don't really want to pay Evan Ingram a 4-year deal. I'd give him a 1. He takes this? Sure. If not, not signing any of you guys. You guys are all bums and losers and part of the losing era here in Jacksonville. We're late in the season and we're on a run. I believe we're on a 4-game win streak. We are 11-5, 1 win away from inversing our record from year 1, which was 5-12. Then again, we also inherited 1-4 start. But against the Chargers in a 35-14 victory, take a look at the player of the week. None other than the rookie Travis Hunter, who had 2 interceptions, 1 pick 6. Fortunately, we do end the season on a low point, losing a not really that close game against the Houston Texans, which in hindsight could have cost us the AFC South. Not 100% on the tiebreakers, doing us on the Colts. I think we split the regular season 1-1. But what I do also see is the Titans go 0-17. Good God. Looking at our rankings, offensively firing on all cylinders. Defensively, yeah, that is what you get when you bring someone like Travis Hunter in the building. He's talented enough to single-handedly change the outlook of a defense. But man, the offense, now we get rid of Press Taylor. Trevor Lawrence was incredible. 4,200 yards, 44 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I didn't do nothing cheesy either. We hired, yes, a Kansas City Chief offensive coordinator, but we're still running the Douglas offense, Jacksonville offense, and I'm not gonna lie, I always kind of knew we had it. Had it in you, T-Law. We get a 1,000-yard runner, which we didn't get with ETN last year. 12 touchdowns from Tank Bigsby, impressive. Rushing numbers for Trevor Lawrence down a little bit, but I'd much rather take rushing numbers down and passing numbers up, which was the case. From a receiving standpoint, Brian Thomas led the team. 95 catches, 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. And the rookie Xavier Restrepo, I think it is very valid to say he might be the best slot wide receiver in college football. Under 1,000, 60 and 982. Hell of a year for a rookie. 18 touchdowns. What? Where did that come from? 7-3 from Gabe Davis, who's not living up to the contract. Ingram was 6-4. Darnell Washington, who's probably going to be our starting tight end next year, as we're not going to re-sign Evan Ingram. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, interested to see if he can elevate his game and take his game to another level. On the defensive side, Devin Lloyd goes over 100 tackles on the season. Travis Hunter was second on the team with 80 tackles. We got 24.5 sacks for Josh Hines-Allen. Huh? 10.5 from Trevon Walker, 4 from Mason Smith. Where did that come from? A new sack record. We got 5 picks for Hunter leaving the team, 5 from Tyson Campbell, 4 for Devin Lloyd, 4 for Antonio Johnson, who's kind of playing like a hybrid role. And actually, this is a throwback to all the draft cycles. There was this guy, he was a first-round bubble guy 2 years ago, coming to A&M, didn't test the best. Interesting. 6 picks from our 2 strong safeties. That is weird. I don't even know how he's getting on the field because our nickel is Hunter. We have Tyson Campbell and Stevenson on the outside. I don't know. But what I do know is that in a season, Josh Hines-Allen now holds the record. What? And I'm going to, you know what I'm going to say? It's because Travis Hunter and Tyson Campbell, those guys, getting coverage sacks. That helped them out a little bit. And for what it's worth, Xavier Restrepo now holds the single-season record for receiving touchdowns. Just history being made with a Jags team that was in the dumpster last year. Trevor Lawrence gets in the top 10 of MVP voting. Josh Hines-Allen is Defensive Player of the Year, obviously. Xavier Restrepo is Offensive Rookie of the Year, obviously. Travis Hunter loses out on Defensive Rookie of the Year to Michael Williams. Damn. We get DL of the Year for Josh Hines-Allen, JHA. We'll call him. No, or we'll just call him by his regular name because JHA sounds stupid. Now let's look at all of our regular season stats and stuff to feel good to distract from the fact that we got the cheat code in the first round of the playoffs. Let's just rip this Band-Aid off. I don't think we're built well enough yet to... Okay, yes we are. We beat the Chiefs. Our first playoff win, Josh Hines Allen with 3 sacks on Patty Mahomes. Drives his ass into the ground 3 different times. His jersey, grass-stained. I hope they got tied. 31... Wasn't even... Well, I mean, well, I'm not going to say it wasn't even close, but usually, you know, weird things happen. Look at that. Outstanding. Trevor Lawrence protects the football. We finally go home. I mean, we got a Super Bowl pedigree coach. Restrepo in the slot's an absolute cheat code. Josh Hines Allen is an absolute... We got 2 sacks from Devin Lloyd. Travon Walker getting after it. God damn, man. What have we awoken here in Jackson? I'm not going to lie. When I was looking, we did 2 rebuilds this week that were realistic rebuilds, but they were teams that don't necessarily need rebuilds, right? We did the Jets because they got Devontae Adams. We did the Bills because they got Amari Cooper. And I was thinking for the weekend, what team would be the most fun, rewarding, as well as not necessarily challenging, but like they need a rebuild. And it was Jacksonville. I was like, you know what? You know, we do these realistic rebuilds. We can go up 10 years, which is, you know, kind of makes this series a little bit different because more people just do like 5-year rebuilds. At this rate, we're only going to need to go 5. This Jags team is a juggernaut. We got Buffalo in the next round. We know what the Bills bring. Damn. They bring the boom. That's what they do. Oh, we got smashed. I feel like we got smashed. Even though we had a player of the week on the defensive side of the ball, I feel like it was... I mean, that's just a tough roll, man. Had a schedule in the rebuild, and you get the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. And we made it ugly. Trevor Lawrence needs to play better, but we did not let Josh Allen take that game over. Couldn't run the football. Xavier Restrepo just continues to be phenomenal. We didn't really get the pass rush going, and damn. Still a very successful season. Let's go. 2 straight years where there's no Chiefs. I mean, the league can thank us for handling the Chiefs. No Cowboys as the Baltimore Ravens defeat the Packers in the Super Bowl, but I'm much more interested to see what kind of dev traits we got going up, because I don't think we have any going down. On the offensive side of the ball, okay, Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence both take the jump up to Superstar X Factor. Now, Trevor Lawrence, as you may have seen, we hired our new offensive coordinator after finding Press Taylor, had QB Guru, so we maxed all that out. So Trevor Lawrence gets +3 to all of his accuracies, +2 to his throw power. And with this guy, the reclamation project, because I hear it. I hear all the people say Trevor Lawrence is washed, Trevor Lawrence is overrated. Just needs that QB guy that could come in, rewire some things, and give him stability that he didn't have with Urban Meyer and Press Taylor and et cetera, et cetera. Brian Thomas Jr. has also been incredible, and he's going up. And if Restrepo, if that's what we're going to get out of the slot with Restrepo in there, he's going to be an X factor. Inevitable. It's only a matter of time. Now, it kind of sucks for Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is, you know, kind of been the forgotten guy. Someone has to be. On the defensive side, we have our record breaker in Hines Allen. Unfortunately, Devon Helliton lost his dev trait. Travis Hunter, superstar. We lost the dev trait on Darnell Savage. Barrett Carter. Okay. Would have been cool to see more dev traits going in the right direction, but it's a work in progress on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to free agency. We need center guard, D-tackle as far as like day 1 starters, and even though I don't think Brock Purdy will ever be a 95 X factor, kind of cool to see actually like a big name player hit the open market. This actually looks like an interesting free agency class. Not names you always see there. Jamo, Mandrews. We need guard center, so we got Sam Alu. Not much there at center either. Not much there at guard. Like, honestly, Walker Little, who we let walk, is maybe the most upsidey player available. Does Stromberg still have his depth trait? He does. I think the fact that we have so many picks in the 2nd and 3rd round, that's a money spot for drafting interior linemen. As long as we don't get a bad roll on the draft class, could be able to do some damage. Look at a D-tackle on Wuzuriki. Ugh. I mean, yeah, Travis Jones, maybe, right? Obviously, 334 pounds, clearly not a D end. But he's still looking for almost $15 million a year. No thanks. I'm good. All right, let's go look at the board. I'm annoyed because Jimmy Shorts, the D-tackle went at 19 to the Texans, was kind of the guy I wanted. Our needs, Tackle is 1 because we only have 1 more year left of Robinson. That's where I also set my focus scouting. And we do have a good one in Dion Gregory, who's still available. Usually you don't get tackles that are still worth a damn, honestly, at this point in the draft. Other position in need, I think D-tackle, we're always kind of chasing for upside there. Might be able to wait. I believe Shepard was the one that looked the best because he has an A finesse move. Could come back to that in the second round. Safety is another one that we could be looking, and I did scout. Again, you just look for traits. And across the board, Jamerson Davison. This guy is absolutely incredible. He's a guy we want to target for sure in the second round. I think a perfect first 2 picks will be getting Davison with whenever we end up picking. But I think we got to be smart here and get a long-term developmental option at tackle in place, and that's going to be the gigantic Dion Gregory out of Georgia. And ultimately, when you're drafting offensive linemen, especially in the first round, you just want that depth trait. It's so rare for a lineman to go up depth trait. Only way I know is like sometimes you get it to make the Pro Bowl, but usually you always have to bank on getting lineman of the year, which is incredibly finicky when they decide like who's actually going to get that in the sim. So look at Gregory, 46 in true value, getting him a pick 25. A little bit of a reach in terms of value, but I will take a dev trait tackle every day of the week. We could skip to our next pick, and Davison will still be there looking at it. We look good. So we're going to at least get the 2 kind of confirmed, like, all right, our scouting put us in the direction. But, I mean, again, that's easy draft pick. Combine ticks all the boxes. Key ratings ticks all the boxes. And we may have ourselves our Darnell Savage. Especially with Darnell Savage regressing. It's always good to get another body back there at safety and play with Andre Sisco. And he is 20 in true value, 57. And we get the dev trait. Could be a little faster, ideally. But reliable Alabama DB. All right, now we got to improve the interior of our line. We got Jaron Hurst, day 3 pick, but he has a pass block. And that is enough for me to go down that rabbit hole. Plus 30-plus reps on the bench press. Sometimes you get a little worrisome when you see good letter grades, bad combine, weak on the bench press for linemen. When you're kind of blind picking them, but usually it's a fairly safe bet. He's a top 20 player in the class at pick 70, and we get the dev trait. And we need a center. There's no good centers, but we have Newberry here. Another man with A in the pass block and 6'5", barely 300 pounds. Could very believably kick back inside to a center spot. Not as high of a pick. 58 in true value. We get the dev trait, and he is likely going to kick inside the center. Now, the last of like a blind pick here, and this is bringing it old school. I'm going to be honest with you. I want to have another corner in the pipeline in case we ever decide to move Travis Hunter to wide receiver. No real corners. Now, this one here is B-man, which is good, right? Anything B or A in any of these, you feel all right. D zones kind of sucks. But it's throwing it back to older Maddens. When a guy didn't attend the Combine or Pro Day, it almost makes you not care about the acceleration or speed. Those used to be special, unique type players. And we got Terry Towns. If I'm blind picking, give me the one kind of good letter grade, and then give me the guy that's the badass, the bad apple. Let me see what we got here in Terry. 75. Okay. Got burned there a little bit. I was going to go back on the line. We have Tony Shaw, a pass block. If you just keep putting these guys in, I'll keep drafting. I can move these guys all over the line as I see fit. 51 in true value, and we get another dev trait lineman. Grab a tight end. Kind of went the guy that had B catching and was the best athlete of the bunch. 228, but another dev trait pull in case Darnell Washington doesn't pan out. So look at our draft recap. The draft of linemen. We get Schwartz, 66, our lowest rated player, but we still pull a dev trait. Shaw, 73 dev trait. Towns, the mystery pick, 71. I'll take that. I thought he was going to be like a 64. Newberry, 72 with a dev trait. Hurst, 75 in the third round with a dev. Davison, 75. And Dion Gregory, 73. Happy with all of those pulls. A lot of dev traits. Good draft. Looking at the league, the lay of the land. Ooh, a couple 80 bombs. Mello Jeffers go to the 0-17 Titans. They get themselves a franchise quarterback. Fender at pass rush. Jeffries at corner. All right. Cool. So at our bye week, and we are a perfect 7-0, the only remaining undefeated team in the AFC. You look at our ranks, everything's good except our passing yards, which is kind of weird, given the fact Trevor Lawrence is, But very, very good. We're coming off a Player of the Week performance from Josh Hines Allen. 2 sacks, forced fumble, 2 recoveries. Just dominant. Offense, defense, special teams, getting the job done here for the Jags. Year 3, we're already looking like one of the best teams in the league, which is, I did not see that happening this quickly. $146 million of cap, so let's handle that appropriately. I think we get Travon Walker, 5-year, 121. Sky's the limit for him. I don't think he's even close to his ceiling. We got Devin Lloyd at linebacker. I mean, he's been reliable. 4 years, sure. A lot of money for a middle linebacker, but I think he's worth it. I think here's where we go. Gabe Davis has not earned another contract. Even if it's not ridiculous, even if it's decent value in relation to his rating and his age. We get him for 3 years, keep him till he's 30. I'm not over the moon about that contract, to be honest with you. What I will say is I'd like to maybe continue the development of Darnell Washington on 3 years. So we'll go with that. I like Stevenson. I don't really want to move on from him. There's not a lot of interest there. I wonder if we just bump this up. We'll go 3.5, 3.5. If not, hey, there we go. Happy to join us from Cleveland. Speaking of Cleveland, and where are we getting? We got Stevenson from the Bears, not the Browns. Speaking of Cleveland, though, with how we drafted on the interior, I don't think we need to spend money there. I do like Tank Bigsby. I don't love paying a running back, but that's pretty reasonable. And I think I've looked at the stats, he's having a little bit of a breakout this year. I'll be shocked if he doesn't get off that normal dev at the end of the season. I'm going to gamble right there that he will get off that normal dev. We have Cam Robinson's replacement. We drafted him in the first round. He's not playing this year, so I'm hoping we don't face any sort of dev trait regression from sitting on the bench. Hamilton at D-tackle. That's a lot. $11 million for a 76 for 1 year. I will say I focus scout at D-tackle for the upcoming draft, so I think we're going to be able to replenish there. I mean, hey, I'll say this. If Gabe can get 1,000, I'll give him his contract. If he doesn't get 1,000, best of luck. At the end of year number 3, weirdly, our offense changed its identity somehow. We went from a passing offense and having really not great sim numbers at all. That's why it was not really a double thinker to trade Travis Etienne when we did to get Travis Hunter. And now we're just we're a top 5 rushing team. Do have the number 1 defense in the league. We go 15-2. Who was the 2? I think we lost to the Colts once. For that win streak. We lost to the Titans and the Colts. So 2 ugly divisional losses stop us from year 3 with the goddamn Jags going undefeated. Within earshot of going undefeated. But man, oh man, what happened with our passing offense? 28 touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence. Tank Bigsby. I mean, even then, it's not like Tank Bigsby went nuclear. 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. That's a good year. Not a nuclear year. Receiving, Brian Thomas goes over 1,000 yards. 9 for Gabe Davis. I said he needed 1,000 to get that contract. Restrepo with 600 yards in the slot. 10 touchdowns. Double digits for him again. Washington in his first year as a starter. Not bad. 60 catches, 650 yards. Only 3 touchdowns. Just weird, man, that we, for no apparent reason, decide to we're just different type of offense now. I don't like it. I liked it when we threw the football with our X-Factor freaking quarterback. We got 18 sacks from Josh Hines Allen, 7 from Travon Walker, 4.5 Mason Smith, 3.5 for Hamilton, 4 picks. Travis Hunter, yet again, lead the team. He has 9 picks in 2 seasons to start his NFL career. That's pretty freaking awesome. But man, oh man, we got to figure out the passing offense again. Got to get back to level. Last year, Rashad was at 15 some touchdowns, and Thomas went off. Why? Why did we just change all of a sudden? Also, needs to be said, 15-2. Maybe that's why we changed. Our only award winner this year goes to Josh Hines Allen for D Lineman of the Year. There's the big dogs now. We got the AFC South, our first AFC South title under our belt. How are we going to handle the 9-8 Dolphins? Can we get a win? Can we find some sort of identity that's a balance between running the football and passing it? Because you gotta run the football, but you gotta pass the football. And somehow, some way, even though we have AFC offensive and defensive player of the week, we lost? How does that happen? Wow. We have the Unbelievable. Not a great year for the ABC crowd as Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. Even though, hey, I didn't even see that award winner. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year. Shout out to the Dougler, even though we just fell flat on our face, pull a Dallas Cowboy, and go 0-1 after being the big dog all regular season. Awesome. Look at the dev traits in closing. Tank Bigsby does get a star dev, which is awesome. Trevor Lawrence does keep his X Factor, which is probably, I don't want to say necessarily undeserved, but lucky roll. I've seen regression for less. I didn't break down. I keep forgetting that they show the dev traits now with every class. So Gregory was hidden dev star. Newberry was hidden dev star. Shaw was hidden dev star. Hirsch was hidden dev star. And by the end of the year, I made them all starters just so that we can get them ready for the future. Appreciate Cam Robinson. Appreciate Ezra Cleveland. But had usher in the new era. Maybe something like that's the difference maker for why we crashed and burned, because we went with youth on the offensive line. On the defensive side, I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but Davison was a superstar, and we lost his dev trait on a rookie season, which is kind of brutal, because it was cool having a superstar back there at safety, but you got to earn it. All right, we just got absolutely sniped. Pick 26, Landon Bradley at corner. It's kind of where I want it to go. May or may not have been where I focus scouted. What do we got? We got D tackles. That's where I scouted. We did get a couple. I need two. That's the thing. At the end of the day, I probably need 2 D tackles now. If we're not going to go off purely BPA. And we have Keys and Allridge, and I suppose tiebreaker will be the combine. So with Allridge, we get A power, B finesse. All right, we're going to go with the guy that's the fastest and also the strongest combination. And Allridge, 27 in true value, getting him at 28. Okay, sick. Lowry going at 51 to the Bucks. Is who I really want. Man, we're just getting, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to say we're getting poached, but we are getting punished for kind of just sitting and waiting. So I think we got a pivot here. We got Cam Jackson, a finesse move, really undersized D tackle at 290 pounds. But I think that that's still where we're going to be able to best invest. He's 87 in true value, and we get another dev trade. BPA, I don't even think we need a running back. We have Trent Stackhouse here out of Georgia. 3 A's and a B. 4.5, decent speed. 3-cone drill also kind of checks out. Even though we just re-signed Tank Bigsby, you can never have enough depth at running back. And he's top 10. I mean, you get the 3 A's. And given the way that our board has fallen, you'll take that every day of the week. Need to get a punter, and we just casually get the number 26 true value punter here in the 6th round to wrap up our draft. No dev trait, no generational punter, but still have a player 97 kick power. Got a leg on him. So all in all, not a bad draft at all. We get a 75 normal punter, 76 running back, hidden dev. Let's see what the dev trait is. Let's say if it was superstar, might have to ask, but a star dev, it's just a good body to have back there. We have in the second round, we got our 2 D tackles. We got Jackson 71, which was absolutely a blind pick. Very lucky that that was a dev trait. And we got Allridge 74 with a, I was going to hope to say superstar, but a star dev. Is what it is. Actually, now that we can see the dev traits right away, I want to look at the guys that I wanted. Just out of pure curiosity. First round, I wanted the corner Bradley. Right there, 79. At pick 26, this was my top, and he's only a star dev, but he's 79. So that would have been an awesome selection. And then we had, it was in the second round, D tackle Lowry. And he didn't go too far ahead of our pick. Right there, only 71. So it's not like it was crushing, but of course he's going to be a superstar dev, because of course he will be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 startable corners. Startable. 1, 2 startable wide receivers. We appreciate Travis Hunter. Got 5 TFLs, 160 tackles, 9 interceptions, 10 PBUs. But for out of necessity, we need him to not be a 92 corner. It is time for that versatility. We're putting him in offense. Putting him at wideout. I'm going to honestly put him in the slot. So it goes from a 90. There's going to be a drop off. He has receiver stats, but like he should be like maybe 80, low 80s in that range. He's 80 on the dot. He's 23 years old, so that's honestly still like a draft pick. That's still like we just got a 23 superstar first round pick out of Colorado. Look at the receiving stats. Obviously, he brings the speed. We've been able to continue like very slowly. I believe he's got +3, maybe even +4 to his catching over the years. Haven't been able to really improve any of his route running or anything like that. It's been more so like awareness and catching have all we've been able to improve. I think change the direction would go up a little bit from time to time, but clearly a playmaker. Hopefully this works. And now, like, the best thing about this too is we already got a couple skill points. Is like every time we do it, we're getting like +2 to his route runnings and stuff like that. So that is going to be huge. Goes from 81. I think this is our second upgrade with him at wide receiver. And he is going +2 to an 82 overall. Sky's the limit. And I wrote it down just so we remember, because sometimes the stats get removed when you switch positions. Like, I don't know if they'll have his... Oh, they do keep it. All right, cool. That used to be glitched in older Maddens. So we would always see his stats. Actually, can just keep rotating him. If we draft a wide receiver, we can move him back to corner. I don't think he's going to be a player that we have to worry about stunning his growth by switching it from position to position based on our team's depth chart needs. Touchdown here. Opening drive at home. Can we get the first career touchdown of Travis Hunter? And we're going to force it in a tight window, and there we go. Number 12 can do it all. We get him another one. O-line hold up. Oh, that's... Hell of a play by Kyle Hamilton. Ooh, play action. Let's watch that safety. Look, they're already double teaming him. Okay. Oh, it's Bradley, the corner I wanted. That was just all coming back to bite us in the ass. Here we go. Quick little mesh. Second touchdown of the game for Travis Hunter. Touchdowns there, but man, oh man. Thought that patch might fix the gameplay. I don't know. Maybe Madden 25 is not for me. Gameplay-wise. Rebuilds, I'm fine. Menu merchant, I'm fine. Gameplay sprinkled in, I can deal with it. But man, oh man. What happened to this game? Going on to the bye, we beat the Texans. And with that, we put up a Player of the Week performance. It's Travon Walker with 4 sacks. You got to wonder, with Josh Allen starting to get up there in age a little bit, is the tide going to turn there where that big-time production has to go on Travon Walker, and he answers the call? That'd be pretty cool. Look at that contract. We got $70 million. First up, we have Anton Harrison. I'll give him a 4-year deal. Lock him in on that right-hand side. We have Mason Smith, Jarian Jones. Pretty much everybody here is replaceable, and we'll pick up the 5th-year option for Travis Hunter at the end of the year. The end of year 4, it's kind of the same as what we saw last year. Our ranking is really good. 14-3, we win our 2nd straight AFC South title, our 2nd of the rebuild. Our defense is elite, #1 defense in the league. However, offensively, it's still kind of a mixed bag. Last year it was our rushing offense that kind of carried low. This year it's our passing offense. Where's the consistency? Like, I don't know. You don't know what you're getting with a Jags offense right now, which is a little weird because usually you can kind of count on the consistency of if your team's a pass-heavy team with success or a run-heavy team with success. And then we have Trevor Lawrence, who had, like, what, 30 touchdowns? What do you have, 28? And then now he's like, oh, I'm just going to get 42. And I guess, yes, we did add a big-time weapon in Travis Hunter to the offense. But it's like we're just throwing the football more. The yards are up. The interceptions are up. The touchdowns are up. Just weird, man. And okay, we'll go under 1,000 yards for Tank Bigsby. That's great after we paid him. But then Trevor Lawrence out of nowhere with 8 rushing touchdowns. He has 50 total on the year, where last year he had, what, 30? Around 30? It just doesn't make sense. Looking at the numbers, well, there you go. Slant cheese, which makes sense because Restrepo, 2 years ago in the slot, didn't have the yards, but he had the same kind of touchdowns that we saw with Travis Hunter. It's really weird, man. 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns for Travis Hunter after making the move from DB. We got 1,004 from Restrepo, 1,007 for Thomas, who's had 1,000 yards every season he's been in the league, trying to become the next Mike Evans. Then you got Darnell Washington with 700 yards, 9 touchdowns for the 6'7", 265 tight end out of Georgia. So the passing offense, rocking and rolling. Devin Lloyd, tackle machine. We got 17 sacks from Josh Hines Allen, 11.5 from Travon Walker. Happy with those numbers. Aldridge, the rookie, with 5 sacks. And the interceptions, Tyson Campbell stepped up. He got 5. We got that pace, but then outside of that, interception numbers down. Obviously, when you take Travis Hunter, you got to lose a little something. Guess 50 touchdowns nowadays just barely gets you in the top 5 for MVP. Doug Peterson wins his 2nd straight Coach of the Year title. Ooh, get the rare dev trade on the lineman. Jaron Hurst, Lineman of the Year for the Jags. We're able to kick our feet up and await our opponent in the division round, which is the 10-7 Browns. We've made the playoffs twice. The first time we went 1-1, 1-1, lost 1. Last year, 0-1, not good. So let's see what we can do here against the Browns. Should be a beat. Browns aren't anything to be scared of, especially with how our team has played. And I guess we should have fucking. This better not be. We get offensive and defensive player. Okay, we got offensive player of the week. 3 touchdown performance from Trevor Lawrence. And we lost. Last playoffs, obviously, we had offensive and defensive player of the week in a loss. God damn it, man. Quinn Ewers, huh? ETN getting one over on his former team. Strep had a good day. Hunter did well, but fuck, man, we got to figure out this. 15-2 and 14-3 in the regular season, and we are 0-2 in the playoffs in that run. Unacceptable. I guess we lost to the team that went on to win the Super Bowl. Don't love seeing ETN get the MVP, though. So as we close out the year, disappointingly, Travis Hunter is up to an X Factor. Hurst, after winning Lineman of the Year, is up to a superstar. Darnell Washington gets a dev trait. Clearly, the talking point will be Travis Hunter thriving in his switch to wide receiver. I don't think he'll have a wrecking ball, to be honest. Knowing how he plays, ankle breaker makes sense. Give him that one, I guess. Sure, why not? Why not? On the defensive side, did we get any love? Our defense was #1 ranked in the league. And yet again, our #1 ranked defense is just not growing or developing players. Aldridge, our rookie, kind of stays put. Teron Walker stays put. We still got Lloyd and Bearcart. Like, this is usually how our linebackers look, which are fine there. Tyson Campbell, actually, with his 5 picks, goes from star up to superstar. So that's a win. And our only real piece of business is to absolutely, even with that number, pick up the 5th-year option for Travis Hunter. We go to free agency, D-tackle, linebacker, corner. I'll spend if there is someone worth spending on. But the fact that, like, usually the only, like, somewhat decent-looking player is the guy that we want to replace and move on from has just kind of been, maybe something to circle back as to why haven't we had the playoffs we've had the regular season, but not the playoff success. Maybe it's the fact that we haven't been able to add a single decent addition through free agency. You know what? We've already signed Terrion Arnold, but we got Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, I'm open to it. Hell yeah. Let's go. White Lightning. All right, let's go into the draft. Where we pick at pick 28. There's 2 D tackles that I really want to look at. And I think they went at 16 to 19. That's really what we need. We need a D tackle. And we still got nose tackle cheese that's available, and at this point I'm just going to get it. 350-pound Gil Brock, A power move, elite strength. I don't love taking that in the first round. 49 in true value, 28, and there's no depth trait, man. Come on. We're just going to go with the athlete at linebacker, Dwayne Northcutt, A-zone coverage, B pursuit, elite speed, usually a healthy combination, even if the true value might not always be there. 66, getting him at 60, and he has a depth trait, 90 acceleration, 91 speed out of Georgia. It's all about things that stand out. We're kind of in blind pick territory of John McLeod. A-man, A-press, 6'3", combine not the best, vertical jump not too bad. But at this point in time, if you're blind picking and you can't find combine, you go with A grades. That's what we get here in McLeod. 64 in true value, getting that 73 with a depth trait. The same kind of thing here. We got Joe Hill, who is A tackle, decent combine. I don't know how much we need to really stress linebacker depth, but I mean, Devin Lloyd, I guess, was and is getting up there in age. Joe Hill, 36 in true value, getting him at 77 and another dev trade. Now, we have so many third-round picks. This is really the last year that we've kind of cheesed that. I'm just going to make a severe reach because I really have one player left on my board that I really want to get. And surprise, surprise, it's actually not Matt Glenn. First, second rounder. And here's why. Here's first, second rounder. He has B deep right now. Honestly, this guy still could be pretty good. Elite speed, elite acceleration. But we know build types, right? You watch my channel, you know build types. And there's also another 4.24 guy. Yeah, he's UDFA. What does he have? What does he have, the other guy? He's elite in everything. And these are the builds that you want. These are the unique builds that are 101. UDFA, don't care. He's a top 25 player in the class. 23 in true value at 92. 99 acceleration, 99 agility, 99 speed. Yes, sir. Wish he had a dev trait, but don't twist my arm. The other 4.2 wide receiver just kept falling. First round, second round projection. Can't be that bad, can he? Well, 258 in true value at 124, but has big time speed and actually has a dev trait role, so I'll take that. Alrighty, so looking at our draft recap. Not much with our late day 3 picks. Kind of is what it is. Matt Glenn, 65, first round pick, 65 overall, but we get the superstar dev. It was projected first round pick. Fell to us in the 4th round or whatever it was. Still, I'll take the superstar. 65 and a superstar, you'll take that every day of the week. That is, I mean, doesn't really matter. They're not going to play. Espinoza, 74 was projected UDFA, big time speed. So we've kind of gone out there. We got Joe Hill, the linebacker. He was dev trait, only a star dev, but still really, really nice value in the 3rd round. We have John McLeod, 72, has a dev trait. It is superstar. A-man, A-press is why we drafted him. And we get a Goldie boy for our efforts. Now, the last time we did draft a superstar player was a safety, and he lost it his rookie season. So we need to make sure we put these guys in the right position to maintain and even elevate those dev traits. Northcutt, the first linebacker off our board, star dev. And ultimately, in the 1st round, Gil Brock, the nose tackle. Fortunately, no dev trait, but man, we are just constantly trying to chase a good D tackle here. As we start year number 5, our offense, we're led by former lineman of the year in Hurst. We got Trevor Lawrence, 93 X Factor, Brian Thomas, 98 X Factor, and Travis Hunter in his 2nd full season at wide receiver, 88 with the X Factor. Sky's the limit. He also throw in the fact Restrepo's a 90. Darnell Washington can probably flirt with double-digit touchdowns again. This is a very juggernauty offense. It's been so in the regular season. It's been the playoff success, and we've fallen flat on our ass. Defensively, still, chasing some playmakers on the D-line that can make some plays on the interior. The linebacking core looks solid. The safety room is good. The corner room, we had Cooper DeJean in free agency. You got superstar Tyson Campbell coming off a 5-interception season. You got Stevenson. We drafted another superstar corner out of Alabama, who actually, I'm going to put him in the slot just so that he gets his reps, because I think obviously a higher ceiling for him than, say, Stevenson, who's kind of on the downgrade right now. But ultimately, offense and defense, special teams, we are outstanding. I expect more regular season success as we try to make it 3 straight AFC South titles. But man, oh man, we got to figure it out in the playoffs. All right, here in year 5, we are 5-2 at the midway point. And then you look at it, it's like, all right, offensively, not brutal numbers. Like, we could definitely finish strong and get, honestly, maybe even top 10 in all those categories. But then our defense has been number 1 the last 2 seasons with losing nobody. We're bottom 5 and one of the worst defenses in the league. So, just weird. Just weird vibes, man, with how this team's playing. Look at our contract, $62 million, and we do not have enough to keep everybody, which is a little bit annoying. Well, Josh Allen's not going anywhere. Record setter. Gotta keep him in the building. He wants a little bit more. I think we can make him a little bit more rich. We got Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, what? I don't like this situation that we're in. I do not like it. All right, we came back to the table. We got Josh Allen's contract across the line. He's locked in for 2 more years. And, Obviously, we'll find a way to make Brian Thomas. Might have to wait till the offseason, but we will be able to get that one across the line. But I'll be shocked if we'll have any money to pay anyone else. That's Tyson Campbell, Restrepo, Barrett Carter, Cisco, all potentially leaving. It's a big loss. Makes a lot of pressure here year 5 to actually get that playoff success. Try to get that Super Bowl because we are going to be weaker next year. Significantly, maybe. All right, so year 5, we go 11-6. We end our streak of winning the AFC South as Colts have a tiebreaker. 11-6, good enough for the 1 seed. Look at our rankings, top 5 offensively, but across the board, like nothing. Not only nothing special. 600 yards for Brian Thomas. Hyping him up is like he's never gone less than 1,000. Trevor Lawrence has a solid year, 39 touchdowns, 4,100 yards, 1,000 for Bigsby, 13 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence is just, for some reason, decided to become a true dual-threat quarterback. Damn. What happened there? That is not good for his X factor. That is not good for a guy that I want to totally re-sign. Restrepo for 1,011. Travis Hunter. No complaints there. Absolute beast. But weird, Restrepo's kind of getting the stats you figure Brian Thomas is getting. Or should be getting. Defensively, Devin Lloyd over 100 tackles. We got 16 sacks from Josh Hines-Allen, 7.5 for Aldridge, 7.5 Trevon Walker. The interception number's not the best. Well, no one really popped off. We did get 13,000 XP for John McLeod, which gives him at the end of the season for our Gem Superstar Corner +5. That'll bring him up to an 81 overall. It's a hell of a gem. So, I mean, we did our job, man. We have built a juggernaut team. The results have just not been there. Opening round of the playoffs, we have the 11-6 Baltimore Ravens, never an easy opponent. We fucking lose again. I don't know. I don't know what, and like we had 3 points. I do not know what the missing ingredient is. We're not, some years we run the ball, some years we throw the ball. Our defense has been elite, and then now it's just not elite. I don't know. And then now we have no salary cap. Like, I'm going to lose a bunch of starters, and we still weren't good enough. I don't know what the option is. Because it's not like, oh, maybe we should fire the DC and bring in a new scheme, or fire the OC, bring in. We're good. We're still putting up big numbers offensively, and one bad year defensively is not going to make me just, forget the fact for years 4, 3, and 2 of this rebuild, we had a top 5, if not outright, #1 defense. It's just weird, man. I don't know. I don't know what the missing piece is. All right, so we're going to try this again. The good news, Brian Thomas, even off a little bit of a down year, still player friendly. Oh, we got some decent money. Where did that money come from? Did someone retire that I just completely glossed over? Even after a down year, he keeps his X factor, which I think is fair. We'll go 5-year, $230 million. Lock him in. Oh, that's why, because his contract is over there. So we are going to be losing corner 2 on our team. Luckily, we were able to bring in Cooper DeJean, so it's not as and we drafted a superstar, which helps. But we're going to be down corner 2. We're going to be down our wide receiver 3, but not many teams have a 90 overall wide receiver 3, and I don't think it ever makes sense to re-sign Restrepo. We'll pick up the 5th-year option on Gregory, franchise tackle. I would like in a perfect wheel to keep Barrett Carter. I mean, Cisco's been nice for us as well, but he's at 29. He's at that weird age that doesn't make sense. And I don't think we're going to have enough money, no, for Barrett Carter. So, we're going to be going to the draft. Don't need to, I mean, we did this. I don't think the speedster guy kept his superstar dead, but we did get 2 kind of good wide receivers last year that could step up to that wide receiver 3 spot. We're going to need a corner, slot corner, starting linebacker, maybe, and a starting safety. And we're going to have to hit on that in the draft. Oh, glad you regressed twice. I was thinking, like, we might be good at wide receivers. And I still think we would, unless it was like a BPA situation. But losing superstar star down to normal. Yikes. All right, so as we start the draft, our needs. We need a starting safety, a starting linebacker. That's, those are the ones we got to get out of the way. And I did scout a couple safeties. And look, one of them is still there. I think we just go potentially with the best of the bunch, which is Mitchell Craig, who is the top free safety available in this draft. We had down here a later round defensive end that had a power move. Look at this. Joe Page, when I scouted him, I had this. I had A double Bs. Not too often the edge rusher. I mean, that's someone that we'd probably wait and see. Elite strength. Kind of want to see what that guy's about. So, ideally, maybe in the second round we can get him. Just because, I mean, Josh Allen's not getting any younger. And there's a chance with the slowness that we're finding success, we might not be able to, you know, within the 2 years that we have left of him, be able to get him. But we'll go Mitch Craig here. B-man coverage. If he doesn't look like necessarily a home run pick. Combine's not ridiculous. But you got to trust the scouting when you have a player fully scouted. He is 21st in true value. Getting him at pick 24 with a dev trait. And he's going to be a day one starter replacing Andre Sisco. All right. Into the second round. Look, we have Bullard, who was also scouted as a first round. We still have Page on the board. There was a linebacker, right outside linebacker, that looked pretty good. It's Washington, I think. He had A's, a couple A's. Yeah, look at that. Honestly, I think we might need to be a little aggressive. I think if we could trade up for Washington, who has A play rec, A hit power, B man coverage, A tackle, we need a linebacker. And we trade up to get him in the third round and trust that maybe we got something here. And Joe Page, drafting just guys with A's, has worked out well. 17th in true value, getting him at 56. Hey, you know what? Not the end of the world. He's not playing right away. If he has a good rating, he's like 75, I guess. We'll say that's a starting point. And he can just sit behind Josh Allen and grow in weight. We don't have to worry about dev trait regression. Could work out. All right, I want to trade up with the Browns. Clock's rolling, so I will give up a future second to get this third rounder, which will allow us to go get Washington at linebacker. Which is kind of, I'm not going to say necessarily it's the last good pick on our board. But you're getting pretty close. And I was basically just skipping right until we had a right outside linebacker go off the board. We're not going to mess around with Washington. Again, a little bit of a blind pick. Maybe not the best combine. But what we've had luck with in this rebuild is A grades. Anyone with A's tends to be pretty good. And look at Washington, 19th in true value at 81. And I think that's a lucky dev trait roll given his athletic profile, but we'll take it. All right, so looking at our board here, we got a couple normal devs. We got Ulrich, who was a hidden dev guard late, and it's, okay, cool, superstar. He's not even going to play. Hopefully he doesn't lose that, but it is what it is. Washington in the third round with a dev trait. It's, okay, superstar. I don't even want to gas myself up too much because we've drafted superstars before and haven't really got any success. Regular season, I guess. And then we got Craig here at pick 24, fully scouted. All right, 2 superstars and a superstar extra. Is that the kick in the ass, the injection that this team needs to not, God damn it, be one and done in the playoffs? God damn it, man. What more can I do? All right, here in now to year 6. It's been a minute since we've had to go to year 6, and I still don't know if this is going to be it, but we're 5-3. Looking at our rankings, you know, decent enough offensively, and at least one of our defensive rankings is solid. We are not letting teams run all over us. Look at our contracts. We have 15. We need to win the Super Bowl this year. I can't resign any of these guys. We are fucked if we don't win the Super Bowl this year. No pressure, fellas. Well, I'll tell you what, this is what I'm talking about. We go 13-4. We get back on top of the AFC South. We are the 1 seed, and look at the ratings. I mean, it makes sense that we're not going to be able to re-sign anyone. We are 93 overall, the 96 offense, 93 defense. You know, it needs to be said. If we don't win the Super Bowl this year, years 7, 8, 9, 10, we're going to have another rebuild within a rebuild. You know, and I'll probably have to get rid of some people because I'm not letting Travis Hunter walk. He's in the thumbnail. And he's kind of, you know, the star, the belle of the ball. Look at the numbers. Trevor Lawrence, not bad. Not great, not bad. Not MVP-ish. Like, is that what we're missing? We just don't have Trevor Lawrence playing like an MVP juggernaut? Is that what it takes? But he's just also now just somehow developed into a dual-threat quarterback. This is hilarious. All right, receiving numbers. Travis Hunter continues to be absolute dog. Definitely no way Brian Thomas does not regress down to at least a superstar dev. Washington was 7 times. But I mean, it's the Travis Hunter show. We got Brian Thomas as a 99 X factor. So we've successfully developed that first-round draft pick. He's obviously a hit. Defensively, Devin Lloyd over 100 tackles. Look at the sacks. 20.5 from Josh Allen. 19.5 from Trevon Walker. Cam Jackson with 8. Aldridge was 7.5. 6 picks from Cooper DeJean, 3 from Davison, 3 from the superstar McLeod. Finally, really happy with all those numbers. Okay, literally, if Brian Thomas would have got 1,000 yards, that would be as perfect of a sim as I've seen for this team. Trevor Lawrence finishes just on the outside of the top 5 for the MVP race. Jaren Hurst gets his second Offensive Lineman of the Year award. Josh Hines-Allen gets his second Defensive Player of the Year award with Travon Walker at number 2 right behind him. All right, no pressure. Last time we were the 1 seed, we lost our first playoff game. So in the division round, we hit the 11-6 Chargers. Pressures on Chargers have a very good defense. Harbaugh got them fellas playing. We'll auto-upgrade here just to make sure we have our best lineup out there. And after that, we get corner and linebacker. McLeod and Washington, 2 superstars, had a hell of a week of practice. Can we finally? Look, we're getting it done offensively. Travis Hunter's unstoppable. Defensively, we have 2 best pass rushers in the league. I need to ask, if not now, when? And we get at least 1 win, which equals our best through 6 seasons. And we are a win away from a Super Bowl. We got the 2-seed Raiders, but this one here, close. 28-23 over the Jags in a matchup where Trevor Lawrence just protected the football. 2 touchdowns, no picks. Tank Bigsby went off. The run game on full display. Espinoza kind of crushed it there. 2 sacks, Hines-Allen, 1 from Aldridge. We get the pick from Devin Lloyd. And just like that, the 2 best teams in the AFC are ready to go at it. You know what, for me, I'm looking at the other side, like, that's a good roll. Rams, Cardinals. I'd take, you look at the big dogs from the NFC, we talked about it, we all know Dallas, Philly's there, Green Bay sometimes is a tough draw. I don't have a problem if we win this one, going up against the Rams or Cardinals. I like our chances. But, can't look too far ahead. We've had no playoff success. There's no reason to believe that we'll win this one, let alone comfortably. Let's go, let's see what the Raiders are working with. Okay. They're real good. Top 5 offense, top 10 defense, number 2 run defense. Again, we'll give them our full respect here and hopefully get a couple starters. It's just one. All right, Davison at strong safety. Once upon a time was a superstar rookie. Regressed immediately, which has kind of been the vibe of this rebuild to this point. But a chance to make the Super Bowl here in year 6. Now, we got a weekly award winner. This doesn't mean anything. We've won both weekly award winners and lost the game as Jackson, our D-tackle, 2. 8 tackles, 2 sacks. Raiders, did we win or lose? Raiders quarterback got player of the week. I'm going to guess you fucking lost. Winner plays the Rams. Oh, we barely win. 28-24. 15 points scored in the 4th quarter. 3 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. No turnovers. Bigsby ran the ball hard. We got 2 touchdowns there. Espinoza. Hunter was the leader receiver in the whole matchup. We got 2 sacks from Jackson, Defensive Player of the Week. Lloyd, Hines-Allen getting after it. All right, we're in the Super Bowl, finally. We're absolutely in a position to cash in our 3 times that we can hop in and see if we can get this one over the line. It's a 13-4 Jags against the 13-4 Rams. Rams have a top 5 offense. Puka Nacua, 14, almost 1,500 yards. They got Benjamin Morrison, the very talented corner from way back in year 1 out of Notre Dame. They signed Javon Holland, the Canadian, at safety, 91, so they get a great secondary. But, I don't know, this feels like this is our year finally, because look at the ratings. They are 88s across the board. We are the juggernaut, 93, 96, 91. They are not better than us in anything. Play to our level, we win. It's not the perfect time either. We're recording this live Saturday morning-ish, and we got Arsenal versus Bournemouth on the other screen here. Okay, well, let's go. Trevor Lawrence, please give me a Super Bowl, because we are screwed if we do not get it done. First points of the game go to Rams, kicking the field goal. 2 straight field goals. Our offense has done nothing in the first half. 0 points. Luckily, our defense is like, all right, we'll hold them to a field goal. We're trading field goals 6-3. We gotta hop in. This is all-time ugly. We'll go verticals dig. 1 of 3 cash-ins. We got Travis Hunter, Washington. Want to try to get this to Travis Hunter, which we should. Over the middle. Breaking ankles. Woo! Only 105 passing yards, huh? From my X-Factor quarterback, that's where we're at. All right, we got another 3rd down. Love something where it's Travis Hunter getting the football. I think right here, smash. I don't know if that smash return should be him in the slot. Could be the tight end Washington. It is Travis Hunter. Can he get the first touchdown here in this tightly contested Super Bowl? We're going to bail out of the pocket. He stops running, so we'll just do it ourselves with Trevor Lawrence, who has, for some reason, developed into a dual-threat quarterback in this rebuild. 2 minutes to go. Going for it on 4th down. We got it. We got it. Kill the game off. Finally. And we were screwed. I didn't even think we were that egregious in like re-signing players so that our salary cap would ever get to a point like this. I honestly, like, we didn't sign anyone in free agency outside of Cooper DeJean. I guess we inherited the contract of Trevor Lawrence, which is obviously very difficult on a roster. But it's done. Check mark. 6 seasons. Win the Super Bowl versus, who did we just beat? We just beat the Rams. Now we will go look at the final stats of what we've accomplished here in this 6-year period. Obviously, I wasn't cocky enough to look at that beforehand because we haven't had really the playoff success for me to feel that confident. But we win 10-6 in probably the ugliest Super Bowl sim we've had. We had to throw it an MVP here. It's probably not going to any of the quarterbacks. Ugh. Well, you know what? Probably the most dominant player of this rebuild. Josh Hines-Allen, give him the MVP. So, looking at what we've been able to accomplish in these 6 years, Trevor Lawrence is at 35,000 yards passing, 273 touchdowns, 103 picks. Has kind of, throughout this rebuild, been in the discussion, top 10 for MVP, but never really being better than top 5. Tank Bigsby, 5,700 yards, 62 touchdowns. Maybe a gamble getting rid of ETN when we did, but I don't think that ever came back to bite us in the ass. 3,300 yards, 44 touchdowns for T-Law on the ground, who, again, one of the weird, I didn't know Jags playbook had this much scrambles going on. For receiving standpoint, Brian Thomas, who developed into a 99 X factor, just under 6,000 yards and 49 touchdowns. Travis Hunter, 4,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in 3 years as a starter at wide receiver. Darnell Washington developed into a decent tight end for us. On the defensive side, Devin Lloyd, just under 900 total tackles. We got 155 sacks for Josh Hines-Allen, who also, you got to remember, during this rebuild, broke the single-season sack record with 24. 77.5 sacks for Trevon Walker. On the picks front here, we have 50. I mean, DeJean did that without us. 14 for Lloyd. 4 for Jamison Davis. Remember, Travis Hunter had 9. So Travis Hunter in 2 years at corner would have been our second homegrown interception, which is absolutely insane. But in the end, we were able to build an absolute super team here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a roster where you look at the current landscape of the NFL, might need the biggest rebuild of all the teams. There is more like due for a big rebuild, and we were able to absolutely dominate. Had some ridiculous drafts, stuck it out with Trevor Lawrence, had him turn his career around, stuck it out with Doug Peterson getting his second Super Bowl. And the man, the myth, the legend, it was finally time to cash in when we were doing our Travis Hunter realistic rebuild. And on both sides of the ball, big time game changer. Absolutely incredible. So that will do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button as we're getting very, very close to 175,000 subscribers here on the channel. All I ask for in return is to hit the old like button if you did enjoy what you see. Leave a comment in the comment section below about what rebuild you want to see next and with what college player, because those help the old YouTube robots push my videos in the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya, have a good one.